Hey, what's up, Alan? I'm here with Joel from Airbourne, your favorite Australian band. What's up?
G'day, mate. How you going?
Good. How you doing, man?
Good. Yep, good. Here we are on the bridge.
Yeah, in Montreal. We're at Heavy MTL. We'll talk about your band being on the bill, but right off the bat, you were saying that you've actually stayed in Montreal for 6 days already. Is this the first
Been here
time?
for 6 days, yeah. And yeah, no, we've played here a few times before, but it's usually been in and out pretty quick. So this time we got to spend some time here. And yeah, it's been checking the place out. It's been good, you know, walking around. We're going to go to the Six Flags, but we ran out of time.
Oh, no.
So we'll do that next time.
Well, I mean, what do you think? Because I guess normally, yeah, in a band, you're in and out. You don't get to see a city.
It's pretty
This
quick,
is an interesting one.
Yeah.
You know, what's it like?
There's a lot going on. I mean, it reminds me of Melbourne just because of all the food.
Yeah.
You know, all the food options.
Yeah.
You've got lots of, you know, obviously French influence.
Yeah.
And but you've got a lot of Greek influence. And that seafood restaurant I was telling you about that we went to last night.
Yeah.
Like, it's just a lot of great stuff. And then Irish pubs, you know, it's a lot like Australia.
McGibbon's.
Yeah.
Did you go there?
No, it was one called Speakeasy.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
A couple other good pubs. Saint Sulpice.
Saint Sulpice, yeah.
Another one that's good is Saint Elizabeth.
Oh, yeah.
That's a good one.
Yep.
And there was another one, Foufon's.
Oh, right. Okay.
So those three. But I'm from Toronto, so I mean, do you notice the French thing here is interesting, eh?
Well, the first time we came here, we sort of like, wow, there's a lot of it going on, so we sort of had to work out for ourselves that, it's actually, you know, it's a big, massive, do you consider this France, or what do you consider it?
It's Canada.
It's Canada.
But Quebec considers
Quebec,
it Quebec.
Yeah. Right, okay, yeah, Quebec is Quebec. Yeah, so we had to work that out. So it's in Canada, but you've got to talk French, because even in some of the places we went to, they didn't speak English.
Oh yeah, no, yeah.
Yeah, so we were kind of like, oh, we'll have to get around that. Well, we know a couple of French words like, you know, bonjour, and
merci beaucoup,
and très bien, and oui.
And est-ce que je peux aller aux toilettes? That means, can I use the washroom?
Oh, okay. That's very handy.
It's very handy. Est-ce que je peux
that works a lot better than, hey mate, can I go, where do you take a piss around here?
Yeah. Where do we take a leak? Where do we take a leak? In the river? No, sorry.
But no, it's good. I like it, you know, because the food is so much different, and we like to eat.
Yeah.
And I noticed that when we went to the French wine shops, they always have a big Australian section and a big Aussie. Australie.
Are you a vino guy? Are you a wine guy?
Oh yeah, we always like a bit of wine.
Yeah.
Can't go wrong.
Can't go right. And the women in Montreal?
Yeah. Well, you got to speak of their language.
A little bit, but they're like, yeah. In Toronto, it's weird. It's like, you know, sometimes you'll walk by a lady on the street and she won't look at you.
Oh.
Here, they'll smile. They'll say,
oh yeah.
Very laid back.
Yeah.
It's very European.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah. Now, you guys are playing a big festival. We'll talk about Europe. Europe is known for these massive festivals that they have. I'm sure you guys played them. You guys probably did Big Day Out, I'm assuming, down in Australia. Have you done that one?
We've done it before.
Yeah.
And I don't know if we're doing it this time round or what's going on there, but we have done it before.
So you played to big crowds before.
Yeah.
How does your band connect with the guy at the back of the stadium? The guy with the shitty seats?
Oh, well, we just try and play it as loud as we can, so at least you can hear it, and then you know, do something stupid like climb up a lighting rig, so if you can't see much you can see that, and then or we just try and play to everybody, you know, like it's just sometimes in a gig you'll think about the front row, and then you'll think about the middle, you think about way over on the right, and you will think this, you know, you'll throw it to the back.
But I mean, Airbourne, you guys play that type of music where it is like anthems, you know what I mean, rock and roll anthems, like stadium big epic songs, you know what I mean? It's actually really refreshing that you guys are on the bill because, you know, you have all these new bands, which are awesome. I love screaming, but at the same time, you guys have that old school throwback. Why is that so important to this band?
I think because that's what we grew up on. We grew up listening to that flat out. So
Metallica.
Yeah, Metallica, Maiden, AC/DC, The Who, Creedence Clearwater Revival, you know, like even way back, Robert Johnson, Otis Redding.
Well, if you go way back.
Yeah, so like all that stuff, you know, we like all that sort of stuff, and if we weren't doing this, we'd probably have a blues band or something going, you know, you never know. Like a sort of rock and blues band, you know, probably do something, you know. One day we'll get up there and we'll just be playing away and we go, stick a little rigid number in, but rock it up a bit.
Yeah.
You know, it's always been one. Long Tall Sally would be good. But yeah, we love it all, mate. We've and we're doing this is great because you get a chance to go on tour and you get to go see some of those bands.
Yeah.
You know, see them live. Like I'd never seen Metallica before, but I was able to see them about 3 times on the last tour because they were on the road at that point and we were doing festivals that they were on. So you'd play your set and then you go off and watch Metallica. So
what does that do when you see a band like, you know, Metallica play? Do you pick up little things like, oh, we should do that?
Yeah. You pick up things like just things, the way they pack their guitars away. Oh, just stuff for storing things and stuff, and then you might pick up stuff with the way they got their monitors, or you know, with Metallica, he has a lot of microphones around the stage, and he runs over there, sings to this one, he runs back the other side, has a yell through that one, you know, and then so.
It's a production, like a Metallica backstage. I mean, they have a family area. Yeah. It's very well organized.
Yeah, I mean, and that's a lot of the things with the show. You see, you know, like we watch Kiss, and Gene Simmons would get on this thing and he'd get lifted up to the top of the stage, and he had these wires on him, and like, you should probably wear wires too, Joe, if you're gonna keep climbing up that thing. And it's sort of like, yeah, well, they won't be spontaneous. So like, there's some things that will work, and then they had this cool flying box idea where he flies out over the crowd.
Yeah.
So you know, you sit there watching it, you can't help but think, yeah, that'd be good. You know, something like that. You start thinking, but then you try and think, what else could you do with it? You know, maybe have a flying fox with like sparks coming off it or something. You know, who knows?
Do it, please do that.
Yeah, that could be good.
Do you guys get sick of the obvious comparison that your band gets all the time is AC/DC? Are you guys sick of that?
No, mate, no. Look, AC/DC's our, you know, like I still remember when I was 5 and I bought, for my birthday, I remember I got it home and put it on, and it was Raised Edge, the Raised Edge album with Thunderstruck, and a cassette tape. Put it on for the first time. I still remember when I was that age, listened to it for the first time. I remember listening to Rose Tattoo at the same time, and I remember listening to, like I was saying, Creedence Clearwater Revival, Thin Lizzy.
Yeah.
Our uncle had a great old record collection, vinyl collection, and so we used to get into that, and that contained, you know, everything prior to like 1980, everything back. So we had everything. So like, now that sound of just plugging a guitar in, simple hard drums, you know, and just singing about a good time, that's what we love. It's, you know, and growing up in Australia, it's like drinking the local beer down there. It's the same, it just goes hand in hand.
Well, I mean, you guys sing a lot about rock, sex, drugs, and rock and roll.
Yep.
Are a lot of those true stories?
Yeah, pretty much, you know. I mean, stories from the road, like on this album, No Guts, No Glory.
Who did the cover?
It's the Sharp Brothers.
Beautiful.
It's my brother's idea. He wanted this, you know, with like, you know, when you see those like action cover from the 80s, you'd see like all this stuff.
Yeah.
And like it would happen like in a Bond film.
Totally.
Yeah. So we took the songs and put them as the stuff. So the truck is White Line Fever.
The blonde.
Yeah, the blonde, bad, beautiful, that's the girl. So, and that was the thing, and so yeah, they're called the Sharp Brothers, and they're really good at what they do, mate. They hand drew it. You know, they had a photo that we took mid-tour on the last tour. We took a photo mid-tour. It was for something else, and we took that, and they just drew it up.
Has any of those stories that we were talking about come back to haunt you? You know, when you're being honest about, you know, sex, drugs, and rock and roll, does that ever come back? You're like, maybe I shouldn't have put that on the album.
No. I mean, it's you would have to figure, like, if you say names, you mention names, or like, you know, if you say actual phone number in a song, then you will get, you know, it can come back. But if you keep it vague and double entendre, you know, disguise a few meanings, you can figure some stuff out. Like, you can work it out. But most of it's, you know, it's sort of like a bit of a mystery.
I just pictured somebody like chorus like 416 598, you know, like sing. I don't know. I think that'd be a really good way to get back.
Well, there was
evil ex-girlfriend.
Yeah, there is one in Bond did it in Dirty Deeds. The phone number in Dirty Deeds. Apparently, it was I don't know if it was a real number or not, but it was an actual phone number, and they had whoever's phone number it was kept on getting calls from like AC/DC fans.
That's awesome.
And then they had to change their number. I remember reading about that. I think in in an AC/DC bio. So I'm just thinking it must have been pretty funny.
Man, what a band! It's like
Back in the 70s too, it would have been.
We were talking about Alice in Chains yesterday, and how
cool.
They're a perfect example of a band that came back from not having a lead singer.
Yeah.
The only other one you can really talk about is AC/DC.
Yeah.
They came back and then they knocked it out of the park.
Yeah, I mean, Alice in Chains are a great band. They're just solid.
Yeah. That new record's really good.
Yeah.
What do you listen to when you want to mellow out? When you want to listen, not when you want to do the heavy rock and roll stuff.
Mellow out for a bit.
Yeah. What do you listen to when you're trying to fall asleep, chill out?
Trying to fall asleep.
Yeah.
It's let's see. Mellow out. Yeah, I mean it's usually blues.
Yeah.
Like John Lee Hooker.
Perfect.
Yeah, it's usually John Lee Hooker, Muddy Waters.
Beautiful.
Because Otis is always on it. He's always going. So you sort of, and Little Richard's always hitting them hard. So it's usually John Lee Hooker or something like that. When he's when they've calmed down, and just Robert Johnson's another one.
Yeah.
He's great. So yeah, if you ever when you're just chilling out for a bit, at the end of at the end of a long day, and you're on the road and you're sort of driving, the next town, it's like 4 in the morning, a bit of John Lee Hooker, even a bit of Bob Seger.
There you go.
He always gets thrown on. He's got that good song, Turn the Page, though.
Yeah.
That's a really good road song. With this, the amplifiers humming in my head and stuff. Like, it's good. That's a good road song.
Sweet. I guess last question is your most epic metal story ever.
Most epic metal?
Like cartoonish almost. Like ridiculous moment where you're like, this is ridiculous. I can't believe this is happening.
How metal? Okay.
For your band.
What?
Did you ever play on top of like Mount Everest or something like that? Like,
I see what you mean.
you guys have done that a couple times, right?
No. Fuck. We have played in the snow before.
Yeah.
But look, we actually got a chance to meet Ronnie James Dio.
Wow.
Yeah, and he was we seen Heaven and Hell.
Yeah.
The Black Sabbath show in Melbourne, and somehow, I don't know how it was, we managed to, I think they must have been on the booking agency that booked them to come out and do the thing.
Yeah.
We're in Australia pissing around, not doing much, and we got tickets to go, and we got down there, and they got us back stage, and we were like, oh, yeah, this is pretty good. So we got back there, and there he was, just with a woman under each arm, just doing meet and greet, sort of doing photos, shaking hands, and doing photos. This little guy, this woman around him, they were loving him, and like he's really classy, like he had a bottle of, like a glass of red, and like every photo he'd come up and go just like that, perfect pose, and have a bit of red, and he'd come and say, hello, how you doing? G'day, how you going? And he was a phenomenal singer.
Yeah.
Like he just nailed it that night, and I mean, to me, it doesn't get much more metal than that. Like to meet someone like Ronnie James Dio, there's only one. There only can be one.
That's got to be a special one.
I mean, he started, him and Ozzy, and Deep Purple, they kind of really did start the whole thing. And then
totally.
And then
Zeppelin
went onto Rainbow. Zeppelin, and then that kind of
Rainbow. Deep Purple.
Yeah, it was sort of that different way to a Judas Priest is another one.
Yeah.
Where an Iron Maiden, where it sort of went, rock and roll and metal sort of came like this, and then it sort of came back together again. And, but yeah,
Halford's a good guy. What a gentleman. What a gentleman.
He's a gentleman, isn't he? We met him. We did some shows with Judas Priest, and we got to meet him all. And he came up and had a chat with him. We were just talking about monitors and stuff, like wedges on stage and stuff, and we're just talking about that. And he was really knew a lot about it, and he was just talking about stuff, just touring around, and he was just a really down to earth, nice guy.
Nice. I can say the same thing about you, man.
No worries, mate. Pleasure.
Thanks for your time, man.
No worries.